Hi, this is Rick for EDU Mobile. In this demo, we're going to talk about grouped table views. These are table views that have their contents grouped according to the model in a likely way. We're going to look at the model. I've made some changes to this model. In fact, this is an entirely new application called Group Table Demo. Now, the first step that we must do in our table view controller is to set the style of the table view in this drop-down from plain to grouped. And that will give us the grouping that we need in our application. Now let's go ahead and look at the model. What I've done here is modeled the first few states of the United States in an NS dictionary called list. My class is called states. It doesn't have to be called model, as we can see here. In fact, here I've called it states. And then I have a single property, which is an NS dictionary called list. And then in our instantiation of list, where we override the getter, if not list, then list is simply a list of states, but the keys are the first letter of the states, and then the values are each state beginning with that letter. So for instance, for A, I have Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, and Arkansas, and so forth. Some states have only one state beginning with a particular letter. D, the only state beginning with D, is Delaware. But instead of having a string, just a single string here, I still put that in an array. And we'll see why here in just a moment. But study this arrangement. We have an NS dictionary, the @ curly brace, and then a string for the key, and then the value is an array, the @ square bracket, containing strings for each state. And then we wrapped all of it up with a closing curly brace for the dictionary. Okay, so this is our list of states. In our table view controller, there are some additional things that we have to do. Of course, we instantiate states if it doesn't already exist, and that will create this list of states when we call for it. We're not going to deal with any kind of editing or adding or deletion or anything, because here we are focusing on the techniques of using a group table view. Of course, we could add rows to the table in the same way we've done before and delete them from the table in the same way we've done before. And we would still need to manage the adding and deleting of things to our model in the same way. So everything I said about adding and deleting rows before still pertains to group table views. So now in our table view data source, we're not returning 1 from number of sections in table view. We need to return the number of sections, and we can get that very simply by getting all keys of our self-states list and counting them. That will give us the number of sections. Now we need to be able to sort these keys, because the groups we want to be in alphabetical order. And remember, there is no implied sorting in a dictionary, so we have to sort these keys for ourselves. So I've created a method here at the top of our table view data source pragma. It really does go with the data source when we sort the keys. This method is called sorted keys. It returns an NS array. Well, first of all, it gets all the keys from self-states list, and then it applies a selector called case insensitive compare to all of those keys and returns a sorted array. So we'll look more about selectors and things like that later in the course, but this @selector is just a way to call a method that exists. In this case, it is a method of NS array. So we'll be talking more about this later. However, the end result is that we return all the keys in self.states.list sorted alphabetically without regard to their case, so case insensitive. This becomes first important in the number of rows in section, because we want to return the number of rows in each section, but we want to make sure that we sort those keys first and then apply the section integer, the index of the section, to the sorted array, not just the array of keys directly from the dictionary. So the section key here is equal to self-sorted keys. We run this method, the object at the index given to us by the section. And that will give us the key for the section we're interested in counting, and we then return the count of that key, of the value for that key. So self states list, object for key, section key, count. So we're getting the array there and then counting the members of the array. So if the section key is A, then we'll get Alabama, Alaska, and so forth, and the count of those. So if we run this at this time, and this is all we need to do to get just a simple table view, here's what we'll get. So kind of boring. We have our grouping, and each group is grouped by the states beginning with each letter, and we can see that they're alphabetical. We go down through M. I haven't added anything past M, just for this demo. We could add all 50 states if we wanted to. So we'll close this. Now, it would be nice to have a section identified with a header. And so what we're going to do now is another method of the table view delegate in this case. And this method is called title for header in section. There is also a title for footer in section if we want to use that. So table view title for header in section needs to return an NS string. We are given the section number. So this is very simple. All we need is our sorted keys array and then get the object at the index given to us by that section number. And if we do this, then we are not only grouped, but we have a title for each section. So we see A has all the states beginning with the letter A, and C, there are no states beginning with B, and so forth. So we're getting a little nicer here, but it would be nice to have kind of a Rolodex style index over here, and we can also get that very simply. This is part of the table view delegate and data source methods. So now let's look at this method, which will give us our index down the side. Not only will it display the index, but it will allow us to tap on a particular section of the index and scroll immediately to that section. This method of the delegate is called section index titles for table view, and then we get the table view. All we need to do here is return the actual list of sorted keys. This now explains why our keys are alphabetical and just the letter. The keys are not states beginning with A or states beginning with D. They are just the letter, and this will allow us to get our index straight out of that list of sorted keys. So now when we run the app, we get our final view, and we see that not only do we have our list of states alphabetized, we have the section header here, but we've also got a list, a strip of letters that correspond to each section. And when we tap on, let's say, M, it will scroll automatically down to M and show us all the states beginning with the letter M. We'll tap on C, it goes to that selection, and so forth. Thank you very much.